Alright, so those were Venn diagrams. The second thing we're going to look at are tree diagrams. Okay, tree diagrams. Alright, tree diagrams. The easiest way to do this is just to do an example problem, okay? So let me write this out here. There is a 40% chance of snow tomorrow. Yeah, probably actually a little less than that, but we're going to pretend.
Maybe a little more than a little less. There's 0% chance.
If it snows, there is a 20% chance that school will close. Okay, so there's a 40% chance of snow tomorrow. If it snows, there's a 20% chance that school closes. If school closes, there is a, we'll say a 10% chance. I should have put chance right here after 20%. 10% chance that if school closes, there's a 10% chance that Bobby does his homework. Okay. If school doesn't close, there is a 50% chance Bobby does his homework. It's a good student. Okay.
50% chance is not a good student.
It's like most of you guys. Okay. Alright, so we got all that information. Now, I'm going to put a couple questions up here and then we'll work them out. Okay. So, first of all, what is the probability of having snow and school? And then another question, what is the probability Bobby does his homework? Okay, so again, it's not an easy problem to figure out without a diagram. So a diagram really helps for this. Okay, and this is this situation we want a tree diagram where things branch off of each other. Okay, so let's set up this diagram. First of all, there's a 40% chance of snow tomorrow. All right, so that leaves us two options, right? Snow and no snow. Okay. If there is snow, there's a 20% chance that school closes. So now we have a branch off of that of school.
Snow, what's the chance?
I'm going to say school, no school. Okay, now, just to keep things organized, I'm going to put that down here too. Okay, even though you'll see when we put in the numbers that if there's no snow, there has to be school. Okay, but I'm going to put them in there just to keep them organized, okay? Now each of those is going to branch into what? What's the third thing? Bobby doing his homework, okay? So I'm going to put HW and no HW, okay? And I'm going to do that for each of these. Because if we want to know that second question, we got to consider all these possibilities. Okay, now that's our diagram, that's our tree diagram. Let's put in some numbers here. What's the probability of snow? 40. I'm going to put 0.4. You can do these in percentages or you can do them in decimals, but I'm going to do them in decimals, okay? So that leaves no snow at 0.6, right? Now, if there is snow, there's a 20% chance that school closes. So no school would be 0.2 and school would be 0.8. Now, if there's no snow, then what's the chance of that there's no school? Zero.
Apparently.
And yeah, the chance that there is school is 1, right? Because that's for sure going to be school. Now, so then we have, if school closes, if there's school closes, there's 2 of those, okay? There's this one and this one down at the bottom. If school closes, there's a 10% chance that Bobby does his homework. So if we go to no school and homework, that's 0.1, which means no school and no homework is 0.9. Now there's another one down here. Here's no school down here. Now it's not going to matter because that's 0, but I'm still going to put the numbers in here, okay? 0.1 and 0.9. Alright? If there is school, that means we have a school here in our second column here. Then there's 50% chance.
0.5.
So where we have the school here on top, that homework's going to be 0.5, that no homework's going to be 0.5. And then where we have school down here, we're going to have a 0.5 and a 0.5 here. Okay? So now that all the numbers are in there, the questions are a lot easier to answer. And anytime what you do with these numbers is always going to be multiplying them. Okay? And then you may or may not have to add some up at the end or later after that. So what is the probability of having snow and school? So having snow right here, we're just going to be at the top half of this, right? That's the 0.4. And school is the 0.8. We multiply those together, we get 0.32. Okay, so there's a 32% chance of having snow and school. Good?
I don't like this prospect.
Now, what is the probability Bobby does his homework? Well, we got to look at, there's several situations we got to look at there. Where is he doing homework? He's doing homework here, 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 and here. We got to look at all those. So we have to multiply all those branches, and then we have to add up what we get for each one. Okay, so the first one, that first top branch is this homework right here with this very top branch. We're going to have 0.4 times 0.8 times 0.5. Okay? And that is 0.32 times 0.5, so that's 0.16. That's what we get off the top. Now we have to add that to the next one we get, which is 0.4 times 0.2 times 0.1. Okay, which is 0.008. Right? 0.4 times 0.2 times 0.1, that's 0.008. And then the third one here is 0.6 times 1 times 0.5, which is 0.3. And then that last one is actually can't happen, right? But if we just multiply still, you're going to multiply by a 0, so that's going to end up being 0. And we add all those up and get 0.468. Okay? So notice how you can't just jump to the end here and say, and get that number without doing a little bit of work. I mean, that's almost 50%, right? So there's almost a 50% chance that he does his homework. Okay? There's the chances of snow reduces the actual 50% by a little bit. All right? Okay, any questions on that? So you set up your tree, you put in your numbers, you multiply each one that you need, and then if you have to, if the same situation occurs more than once, like Bobby doing his homework, occurs more than once on the list here, then you do each one and add them up. Alright, yeah.
So it's kind of fractal.
Yeah, it's kind of fractal. Are there any questions about this? Okay, that's good. The homework is page 728, 27 to 30.
Wait, today, you read?
27 to 30.
Thank you.